Hello, so this is the eighth chapter of the book that we are reading, and the book name is 59%. And the chapter that we are going to read it is Pick That Book. Okay, so what would be in this chapter? So, in this chapter, the author of this book, who is Ashish Arora sir, he is going to tell us that which are the book that he likes so that we can read different books, right? So a person who won't read has no advantages over one who can't read. So it makes sense. Reading is to the mind what exercise is to the body. So if you are reading, so reading is somewhere it is your exercise for your mind. Okay. Before I start, I would like to present you with some facts according to the recent data. Reading at least 6 minutes per day reduces stress by 68%. The research was also carried out where it was found that people who read draw conclusion quickly and avoid ambiguity in the decision making process. So in this he is giving us a factual data, and according to the facts it has been proved that if you are reading something, if you are up to reading at least for 6 minutes in a day, then it will reduce your stress level like by 68%, that is almost 70. And there are also some researches where people there are also some research paper where people have found that if you are reading, then you will make decision very quickly, so it is very good. So try to read at least for 15 minutes because it is going to, it is good for your brain. Okay, if I could go back in my life and fix a few things, I would start by inculcating the habits of reading book earlier in my life. In India, we don't generally give much importance to book reading, and whatever reading we do is precisely limited to the textbook. So true. Like even if you are reading something that is not the part of your syllabus, even parents will neglect it, parents will deny, and they will say don't read it if it is not something that is not going to help you out. So I'll say that it's very a myth and you should read. Reading is very good. It is going to. Yeah, so it is going to improve your vocabulary and many other things. So reading is somewhere it is very important. Even in school, teachers provide the written solution to the questions given in the books that children just mug up. In my school, and I believe in many schools in India, we were forced to remember essay and letters that take away, the entire purpose of reading and imagination. Yeah, you see, the whole thing about reading book is very messy in our schools, that we can say, because they involve us in a few questions and they kind of limitize our imagination that I don't like. So that shouldn't be somewhere in our education system. Why book reading is important? So we are going to understand the importance of reading. If you are reading, so why? And I think that everyone should read, because just suppose, like you are educated, you can read, and you didn't read any other book apart from your syllabus in your entire life. It sounds very ridiculous. If you know how to read, then why are you not reading, right? So whatever decision we make in our lives, whether they are related to our studies, career or business or anything, we tend to analyze their positive and negative results in our mind. Unfortunately, we often do not have a valid and trusting point of view in our subconscious because most of us blindly copy others. As a result, we often end up by making the wrong decisions. Book reading gives a perspective. Since book contain narration from a different point of view, you see and experience events and feelings about the characters, though a particular perspective which may or may not correspond to your thought process, but enrich you and critical viewpoints of your growth. The modern world requires you to alter attentive, flexible, and open minded. If you read a book, your mind expands. For me, expanding the mind means that the book has an impact on the way you look at the world, and it is very essential. Yeah, you see in book, but you are doing so anything, like you are reading, you are understanding, means your mind is doing something. On the third thing, you are agreeing with the author or you are disagreeing with that person or his opinion. So it is something that you are allowing your brain to process, and your brain is really doing some work, so it is going to expand the knowledge of your brain. So that is very important, and reading is one of the best exercise for your brain exercise, that you can do. What to read? Yeah, there are few things what to read. There are three types of people, right? So first, who do not like to read and therefore haven't read a single book in their lives. Second, people who want to read books but tend to give up midway. And third, the people who read enrich themselves with wisdom. If you find yourself in first two categories, your first task is to identify the reason why you don't like to read. Sometimes people who are not good at English begin reading books to improve their vocabulary and command over the language. But the book they pick has significantly advanced English. Hence, they end up by closing the book and throwing it away. I agree, reading increases your vocabulary, but it is also essential that you choose books that are easy for you to understand at the beginning. Sometimes people also pick a lousy book. A lousy means a very challenging book, and force themselves through it, which then seems like a chore, and eventually they abandon the book. Start with more accessible, exciting books that really grip you and keep you going, even if they are not library masterpiece. Yeah, read something that you are interested in, right? When I started reading, even I was not into that much into books. So, and the thing is that I wasn't able to find the area of my interest. Then I realized that I like something that is non-fictional. Then I'm like, okay, then even for non-fictional, reading a whole new whole huge thick novel was very difficult for me. So I started with novella, like and short stories kind of book, and it was wonderful journey. Now I can read novels that contains around 250 pages or 300 pages, and I love reading. I love reading. I Most of the time I just keep reading because I like it. Doing it, I like it. So how to move beyond 59%? If you want to begin your book reading journey, you want to be a better at it, I will suggest you to have a fixed routine. Read 5 pages, 10 pages, or as much as you can, but make it a habit by picking times when you will focus on nothing except reading. For example, some prefer to read books in the morning, but I suggest you begin with reading 5 pages every night. Don't worry about the genre of the book. Just make sure that the last thing you do every night before you sleep is turning some pages. Yes, try to do it. Like read anything. Just read and read 5 pages. Make your timetable, and in that timetable, indulge 15 to 20 minutes where you are gonna read 5 pages, because after some time it will become your habit, and the day when you will not do it, you will feel very empty, so it will become your habit, right? So do it. Audiobooks are revolutionary, especially for people like me who struggle with time. You can listen to the books while traveling or doing any kind of chores, right? While when you close your eyes to take some rest, you can also begin by listening to the podcast on some topic that interest you. Apps like Audible have both books and podcasts. So if you have a very busy task, and if you don't find time for your book reading, then you can do one thing. And what is that one thing? That you can start with audiobooks. Audiobooks is for, basically, I think it is for those people who don't get generally time so that they can read books. So there are few authors and there are few readers who are gonna read the whole book for them, and they just need to listen it. So you can listen the books when you are working, when you are doing anything. So you can do it even before sleeping. You can just listen to it, and it is very peaceful. It is very good, right? The best thing about reading is it enriches your vocabulary. In the beginning, you take the help of dictionary to find the meaning. You can also note the words down in a book. After reading continuously for a month or two, you will begin to feel a significant change in yourself. Like I have found some changes in myself also. Like I have started reading and it was a wonderful journey. I still want to continue. I want to read every single day so that I can enrich my vocabularies. I can express my it's going to enrich your vocabularies and it's going to change your personality also. So if you are up to reading, do it. If you're not up to reading, then develop a habit of reading, because it is very very important, right? I generally don't suggest reading ebooks to beginners because one might lose in focus when reading on cases. But in case if you want to read an ebook, put your mobile on whatever device you are reading it on a flight mode. Yeah, do it. Like I personally read both kind of book, physical and ebooks, at night. When I can't sleep, I kind of hold my phone and I read few ebooks, and it's wonderful. And at the end of the book, it's something that I would be able to finish two books, one physically, one ebook. So that is very inspiring, and I have read so many books, and from my experience, like I have learned a lot, and it's wonderful. And sometimes reading books helps me to divert my mind, and it relaxes me. So it is something that I love doing. I'm putting together a list of some fantastic books below. All recommendations have been made from my personal reading experience. I honestly credit a fraction of what I am doing, but I am today to each title in the non-fiction. They have affected my personality, opened my mind and new ideas and opportunity, and gave me basic framework for thinking, working, and growing. If you're a person who has just begun reading, I'll again request you to with fiction first so that you don't lose interest in reading. Okay, so yeah, there are some books you can see, and the author has mentioned. Okay, so you can give chance to these books. In there is also Power of Subconscious Mind. The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma is also one of the books that you should read. And they are fictional if you are fond of these kind of books, so you can give it a try to them, right? So yeah, and there is also one book that is Shiva trilogy. I want to read it, but I didn't find it. But yeah, I'll definitely read it at point of my life. So these books are very good, and you should read it. A Man Called Over by Frederick Blackman. If you want to read and if you don't know how to download books from internet and you don't have much money so that you can buy physical books, so I'm going to refer an application that is going to help you, and you can read your books, you can download it, and you can also talk to the author of the books if you are lucky enough, or you can write your own books if you are into writing, so you can do it. And the application name is Wattpad, WATTPAD, Wattpad. Even I use this application for reading ebooks, and it is a wonderful application. I've been reading books on this application from last almost 3 years. So yeah, you can trust it. It is good, and read something, read something, and happy reading to all of you.